Welcome, everybody. My name is Mikey Mhenna. I'm the moderator for today's very special Quartertones event with TootArd and one of the members of the band, Hasan and Nakhleh. And if you're not familiar with TootArd, they are a young trailblazing ensemble founded by brothers Hasan and Rami Nakhleh, born in occupied Golan Heights, currently based in Bern and Golan Heights, who deftly fuse Levant tint, desert blues, melodic psych rock, morphed reggae and classical Arabic modalities. Their second album, Laissez Passer, is their debut international release and one of the first such releases from their homeland, restless, buoyant, and eclectic. Their latest album Migrant Birds, is jam-packed, full of pop hooks and quarter-tone melodic lines, which unleashes a disco whirlwind that pays a homage to the West Asian dance floor scenes of the 1980s. Hasan, welcome to Quartertones.
Thank you, Mikey. Thank you. So happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I don't think I've ever read so many beautiful adjectives in a single sentence.
So I didn't write those. Yeah.
So let me ask you, do you find your music hard to describe to people when people are asking you, what music do you guys play? You must play Arabic music. What music do you play?
That's the hardest question ever. Yes, I can never answer this still, and I even give up to try to say it in one style or two styles. It's lots of styles, lots of influences. So basically what you can find out there has been described mainly by our record labels, which they try to describe it. And I usually, we put the music and we see what people write about it and see what it sounds for them. And we learn even from that because when we do it, we don't think to do it into a style anyway. So the description comes later.
Yeah. So I think we're about the same age, I think. So let me ask you a question. Let me say I went up to you, I met you in 1992 or 1995, and you were there with your Discman or your Walkman, and you had your little CD case, right? Or your tape case. What CDs were in those cases?
Yeah, I didn't have a case, but at home we had a lot of stuff, which is like, of course, Arabic music, because my parents, the house is musicians, and so we have a lot of tapes and CDs at home.
Yeah.
And it was, maybe Rami and I, we were trying to listen a little bit to some different music from this, because this we had so much at home, the Arabic music. So we used also to listen to like American music, like hip hop or like reggae or like even some rock or stuff like that. Yeah.
But what are some of the CDs that if I played them, you'd be like, oh my God, this reminds me so much of, summers as a kid, or I can remember this after school listening to it on headphones, or what songs do you think jump out?
For example, Tupac. We used to love Tupac. We did a lot of Tupac. Yeah, we had his posters and stuff like this. We were crazy about him. Of course, all this for a while, and then we move on, and then the next thing,
What was your favorite Tupac song?
I totally forgot about it now, but we used to listen to all the stuff without probably understanding what they played.
Amazing.
The beats and
amazing. So I mentioned this in the description. You were born in Golan Heights, and you're actually there right now. Yeah. What was it like growing up? Like, paint the picture for somebody who has only heard those three syllables in history books or from the news. And I would say that a lot of people don't even think of Golan Heights as an actual place. It's almost been sort of abstracted in people's imagination, where it's just a place that people are fighting over. What was it actually like living there, growing up, and having to deal with that abstraction as when you meet somebody and you say, I'm from the Golan Heights?
Yeah. I mean, when I was young, growing up here, I didn't know about the rest of the world. When I was growing up here, for me, this was everything. So like any kid, I had a lot of nature around. It's a small villages, and our village is like on the mountain, Mount Hermon, and it's quite high, like 1,200 or something. So I grew up just climbing this mountain, making fire, or like going to the fields. It's surrounded with a lot of fields, and you have apple trees and cherry, which people here produce. So we usually have each house has a small piece of land. I go hang out there. But of course, including all that, you have the border cutting in the village. This is the border right now between Syria and Israel. My village is exactly there. And you have like it's a small village, 10,000 people, like a mountain style, but you have inside a small hill with a military base, Israeli military base, inside the village, with minefields surrounding it. That's in the village, and the whole Golan Heights, like if we go also to the nature, usually to chill or make fire as kids, you have lots of minefields, just empty places surrounded with the fence. But for me, when growing up, like, I didn't know, like, I didn't think too much about all this. I was happy to go make fire and play a bit of music, or even drink some alcohol next to a minefield. Didn't seem so, a problem or anything. And later, when you finish school, there's nothing more to do here. You have to get out. And there you are confronted with this, like, people ask you where you're from, and you have to say from the Golan Heights. And yeah, many people, like, let's say around the world when I traveled, they don't know about it, first of all. Say, where is this? Is this a country, or what is this? And then you have to explain, of course, a little bit more. So it's always have been annoying. You don't have a short answer to get rid of this question sometimes, like say just, I'm from New York, and just move on, Can't be so short like this. Say Golan Heights, people will ask more, and you end up, talking politics and many things. And sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's not. So it just comes with it. Yeah.
How did growing up in that environment where a border is literally cutting up, cutting your village, how do you think it may have impacted your sound, the way you played, the types of your approach to music, if at all?
Yeah, when we were doing music, I didn't think of this, but later now I see, like, when I look back on what we have been doing, I see it, of course. First of all, the isolation from the surrounding, like we are supposed to be Syrian, but I was never in Syria. I only see it on the television. I watch this, series and films and whatever. Like, so culturally, we are seeing television from Syria and Lebanon, and we are very connected to this, but never physically have been there or seen a person from there growing up, And so yeah, when you also hear, like, here, if you want to move on and like kind of do music or anything, you have, or study, let's say, we cannot travel outside of the country. So because we are also stateless in the Golan Heights, and we have no passports when we grow up here. So you have to move into Haifa, Jerusalem, or Tel Aviv and try to learn there, like in a school or anything. And of course, like, it's very different world from this isolation of living the villages here and being like emotionally or culturally behind the borders there where you can't go. So I don't know, it's probably creates something, so I call it isolation. And then we have learned a lot from the internet because of this, because we didn't have a scene here or something to, go learn from. I didn't see concerts or big, like, concerts or anything until I was in my early 20s, So yeah, I think this had filled it with a lot of internet material. We were the generation which had a computer and internet at home, this transition.
Yeah.
And but I forgot your question, actually.
Yeah, no, that's super interesting. You mentioned that you come from a family of musicians. What did you grow up playing? What did Rami grow up playing?
Yeah, we we have on tapes like memories for us doing music before we even remember it. So we have memories from the videos. We used to sing. My father plays oud, and since we were born, there's tons of instruments at home. My big brother plays qanun. Rami started to play keyboards when he was a kid. I was playing oud and violin, and yeah, so we all sit down and learn like Arabic songs together and just play by ear with my father, like Kulthum, Fairuz, Farid, all this kind of, you know, Abdul Halim. And we play lots of this. And so it came in like this naturally growing up. A lot of instruments always there. Literally, there's a sound system inside our living room. So sometimes when we have guests, we can wire the instruments, put mics for the guests, and we sing and play. This is the living room situation.
Yeah.
Sometimes we were kids and we were forced by my parents, like, come here, now we have guests, take your instruments, start playing. And, you know, we have to show the guests, blah, blah, blah. But this was so valuable, I can see, of course, right now, to learn just by ears and train yourself from very little. So yeah. This was the start of music, making music.
Yeah. And when did you start? So you were mentioning Farid, Kulthum, and all this stuff. When did you start going into? I'm going to read again what I read in the intro. So, desert blues, melodic psych rock, morphed reggae. When did you start exploring? Obviously, disco. When did you start exploring these other genres? And start understanding that these are compatible, that these are not unmixable.
Yeah, like probably we were teenagers when we like we would go to the garage under the house and just like, you know, get also some drums and electric guitar and call some friends and just like try to do some other stuff what we would see in the internet. While upstairs with my parents, we were still playing, you know, the sharqi, the Arabic stuff. And yeah, as teenagers, we got hooked. But of course, we heard some rock and we wanted to try this out. And we heard Bob Marley and we were like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, sure.
First joint, and I was like, okay, that's it. You know, like, so for a while we were chilled on upbeats like Bob Marley, trying to learn his songs and learn from it.
Yeah.
And of course, the hip hop, the disco, all this stuff came in. Yeah, and it was more experimenting with our friends who also play music from the village, you know.
It's almost like when I listen to you, you know, those tape shops, those where in the glass there's all the different tapes, right?
Yeah.
And there's like greatest hit of Bob Marley, greatest hits, and Eric Clapton Unplugged, and Metallica, and you know, like all these different the classics that you see in every single Arab capital.
Yeah.
I feel like the reason why I asked you the question, I can see that you had every single one of them.
Of course, like the hits of, you know, just conclusion of, you know, this style. And we liked it. We like one tune. We just take it.
Yeah, you know, exactly. I can imagine you sitting there with your brother being like, all right, are we playing Enter Sandman now? No. Let's play One Love.
Yeah, so this was happening at the same time while you're playing all this Arabic and Kulthum and everything. Yeah, and
cool. So let's play some of them first, and so let's talk about the first interlude that you selected. What is Moonlight, and why did you select this?
Nur al-Badr, Moonlight. I don't know. It's from the latest album. And it's just like, yeah, we're trying to find something, I don't know, musically, you know, to just put all this, what we were talking about, into something which, for me, nostalgic and makes sense, and also for somebody, hopefully. So this comes out. This we did in 2019. We started working, Rami and I, on this stuff, and we released it in 2020, just with the Corona happening, and then immediately after the explosion in Beirut, and so much stuff that this album just like sneaked in slowly, you know, without many people noticing. Yeah, I don't know, it's just like a fun song, dance floor song. I don't know how to describe it, but Yeah.
Well, let's talk about it, and then let's listen to it, and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay.
ضبيا بين الغزلان ترقص لا وحدة راشقت جسمه عاتم ما في بسمة ضبيا بين الغزلان صادت بسهمة نار بقلبي تحمى وتشعلني بوهمة ضبيا بين الغزلان ترقص لا وحدة راشقت جسمه عاتم ما في بسمة ضبيا بين الغزلان صادت بسهمة نار بقلبي تحمى وتشعلني بوهمة حبيبي أنا مولع بالسهر ولطلوع الندى يروس تحت القمر حبيبي أنا بيني وبينه وتر نظرة بالوما ورقصة ما لا أتر
Okay, I have so many questions for you, Hasan. Let's talk about the production. The production is really, really good. Were you guys both in the same studio? What percentage of, how many of the tracks are acoustic, if any of them? Yeah, walk me through the production.
Yeah, we did it. We were at the same place, of course. It was a mix of acoustic and electronic. We were trying to, so we did 2 albums acoustic right before this, and here was like a little bit of a transition. We were like wanting to do something a bit more electronic, but we end up like recording live drums. Like we went to the studio.
The drums sound amazing on this album, on this track.
Thank you. That's Rami. And we had live guitars and all the synth we play live, the vocals, and the bass we play like as a synthesizer instead of like we usually had, bass guitars. And it was a challenge, I think, because we had a sound in our mind we wanted to do, but we record everything by ourselves and mix it also by ourselves. And I think we were excited when we did it, but then as soon as we put it out, for us it was like a little bit like, this is not what we wanted exactly, But
why?
But this is always with us the story. I mean, I feel like I'm happy about the songs, like as a songwriting and compositions and stuff like this. But what you can do with the production is, of course, endless. And we are now learning a lot more about this part. because we do it ourselves, so you have to learn a little bit about techniques
Yeah.
and recording and what you could use, what not. So yeah, this started somewhere, and with the mix, it ended somewhere else. And then when we put it out, we thought of something even else. But yeah, it was very short, very fast production. Like we work fast sometimes, and it's yeah, we wanted to release something. Yeah.
Did you have a specific style in mind going into it? Because this has a very sort of sepia toned 80s video clip on the Corniche. Did you have a very specific thing in mind?
Not really, actually. Like a lot of stuff comes out while we are doing it. Like if I show you the demos of what the idea originally, the first draft of composing these songs, they are different style at all.
Are you guys writing and jamming at the same time, or do you come with something and then he comes with something? Are you guys sort of writing in the studio, so to speak?
Yeah, we have a very confusing relationship musically because we grew up with the same circumstances, but still got two of us, not one. But we are so similar. We think without talking together the same stuff, but also completing. Each one has a bit to add to the other. So this album, I wrote the lyrics because I had to, and then the music, we do it together. I sometimes do the melodies of the vocals or the synth, and Rami's doing the beats or whatever. We arrange together. It's very hard to say who did what, so it's all kind of together. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, before we move on to the next one, I want to ask you, why don't you like it?
Yeah, maybe because I made it. I don't know. I think it can be made better. I think this could be. So,
but what are you actually feeling, Hasan? I mean, there's a million reasons not to like it. Why don't you like it?
Yeah, maybe I can answer this in about a week, because now we are taking this material and doing it live. So this gives us another chance to kind of change it to what we think is better than this. So we will soon, maybe in a week, we will release like a live set, how we are doing this material live. So we let ourselves sometimes change stuff, so we don't stick. And yeah, but it's good. Yeah. I mean,
if you don't like this album, then let me ask you a question. Do you really dislike your older stuff?
Oh yeah, very much. But I also learn how to make peace with them and just let them live. Some people like them, so I have to respect that.
Yeah, kid.
Yeah, it's not about me anymore, liking them or not. Once you put them outside, they're alive, by themselves. And I can see somebody is listening to this, so I'm very happy, of course.
Yeah.
But we are changing so much, so fast, and musically, as you can see, each album is totally different style.
Yeah, completely.
It's hard also for a band, like, to change all the time. And many bands don't do this. Like, you stick to something. If you're a rock band, you're a rock band. But we are a reggae band, and then a rock band, and then now a disco band. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we don't pay attention to this kind of stay in the same style. We don't care. We do it. Some people maybe dislike this or like it. I don't know. But that's how we feel. We kind of change, and Does
your listening taste change really dramatically too? Like, if I put on a song that you used to love, do you kind of wince and say, "Oh, I kind of hate this stuff now"?
No, actually, I can listen to a lot of stuff. I consider myself that I listen to everything. I know how to enjoy a lot of stuff, so I can.
Cool.
But each stuff needs its own mood or place or whatever. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, let's listen to the second track. So, Troubled Watan. Tell us a little bit about this.
Troubled Watan is like, in Arabic, sounds like Trouble Watan, and in English written Trouble Watan. And it has a little bit of this, we like a lot to play with the double meaning words. So maybe the text is a little bit like that. And we also like, I mean, you will see, like, I don't know, we like the shabby and folklorical styles, of what we grow up into. Yeah, I think it's very dancey. We have lots of very dancey styles around here, and yeah.
Cool. I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right, let's listen to this one.
لاحظ انه لا حظ ولا نصيب جيل ما بيتغير عصيب الماضي والمسافات بين جيل الامس وجيل اليوم في مسافات وان كان عندك ثقة فيي تعال نعمل ثورة ثقافية
Okay, I have thoughts. There's the reggae. I hear the reggae. The reggae is coming back. You can't help it.
Goes and comes back. Yeah.
It always comes back. So how did you feel listening to this one, Hasan?
Oh, it's okay. I have to listen to it now. So
it's so funny. Like I'm like sitting here jamming. I look over at you and you're like, oh my God, why you're making me listen. It's so good. So do you guys like dance music? Do you feel like when you're playing it, are you jamming? Are you sort of wanting people to dance on the dance floor? Can you imagine that? Is that the feeling that you're hoping to get?
yes, we love to dance ourselves, and lately the more and more the show is becoming like from beginning till the end, just let's dance.
Yeah.
I love to dance to music, and I see if I'm gonna do music, I love this part to make dance music or have people dancing instead of just sitting and listening. So yeah, it's becoming more and more dance music. Yeah.
Could you ever imagine writing music for other people?
I love to do that, but it's not easy. I don't know. Like I didn't do it yet, but yeah. I even see myself more like a composer or something, like writing songs or just making music, not even performing it. So yeah, this is something I could like to become in the future, like, you know.
I could imagine you doing it.
Nonsense. Yeah, just write songs and do styles.
Like, you do it, and I don't want to perform it. You do it.
Please.
You like it. I don't want to like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, why is the album called Migrant Birds?
Yeah, I don't know. I also migrated, but since we are born here, it feels like you're already a migrant. So didn't it's something that's been there, and like this song also maybe Trouble Watan, like we're searching for a home or something like this, but we could see like that actually there's no specific home. I want it like it is.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it spreads you, it tears you apart and throw you in many places. I don't know.
Yeah.
And now I really feel home a little bit here, but not 100%. I cannot stay all the time here. I get like this, and I go somewhere else, fall in love with it, and then after a while it's the same, and just like moving. And we found ourselves like really not having one perfect place. There's no such a thing, but we can enjoy anywhere for a certain time.
It's like your musical styles.
Exactly. And then move on. And I don't know, it's refreshing to move also and see this perspective and live this life. And then suddenly, before you start to hate it, just move somewhere else. And then it makes you love it again when you're back, you know, what's good actually about it. So moving and living in different places. And it's a bit like birds, migrating. They cannot live also in one specific place. Maybe the weather is also another reason, like to move around as a person to migrate also. Like I now ran away from the winter in Europe. Now this weekend I'm going back. There's like seasonal, movements, which of course works good with the music lifestyle because you anyway have to travel and play.
Yeah.
So yeah, we feel a little bit like that.
Do you feel a sense of like going back to the whole idea of growing up in the Golan Heights and it not fitting any mold exactly, right? Like you're so close to Syria and Lebanon, but you're not fully a part of those societies because of the occupation. And so you also are, it's hard for people to understand, right? As you mentioned before. And so because it's hard to understand, it's also kind of hard to be defined. So do you feel that there is an internal sort of like animosity towards people, that you feel towards people trying to define you, trying to say, no, you're this style, or you should be from here, or you should be this way, you should be that way. Do you feel a sense of sort of bitterness or animosity?
Yes, of course. I mean, we don't have identity, not just in the music style, not in personal life. I don't know how people ask you first thing, where are you from? Even this, not what kind of music you do. This is even harder, where you're from, like really straight. Don't have a good answer. I don't know where I'm from. It depends on the situation. I choose different answers each time, And I really, even this is fluid. I have a very fluid identity. I can be this, I can be that, because that's how I feel. And really, there's nothing defining me for real, 100%. And so yeah, lately I don't want to be this like living on the edge of a culture, and not having the real thing, like to touch it, to be there, to live it, and just seeing it from far. So I end up migrating to Europe personally, and I said, okay, like I'm just like leaving this place, and I will get some, different way, because I want also to be able to experience Syria, Lebanon, all these Arab countries which I cannot go, and the rest of the world, and finish with the visas. You have no idea what we've gone through just doing visas all the time, all the effort and the money, and how much as a musician, touring musician, how much more work. Like this was like, like a visa department, as if we had this, just working on the side so we could continue doing this. And we didn't give up, of course, but I understand how many artists want to do this, because just your papers, you're not privileged to travel around, and this is crazy. So I decided on migrating, working a long-term thing, and now I became Swiss finally. So now I was stateless all my life. So from nothing, no passport at all, to Swiss citizen. And yeah, I don't know, like just imagining what I can do now, where I can go to Lebanon, to Syria, to any place you want, to travel also many places with not worrying about a visa, all this kind of stuff. It adds, yeah, I don't know, it adds even more complexity. What are you? Where are you? Which your identity is. I'm not looking for anymore for what's my identity, what I'm just looking for real solutions. I want to get to Beirut. I want to get to Syria. And I'm not waiting for anybody to change it, because I understood nobody cares about us. But I can solve my own personal problem at least, and I've managed to do that. And yeah, I believe in doing things, not just defining things, you know, as they are. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's almost a sense of, it's almost like the music is like you're saying, the world has almost rendered us as if we can't be anything, or as if we are nothing. Let me say it differently. The world has almost rendered us as if we are nothing. And through my music, I'm going to show you all I can be anything.
Yeah, I mean, the music was our ticket actually to get out or to change our lives. You know, I was like, first visa to get to Europe to play. I mean, we were like young, in our young 20s. We go to the embassy, they say, no, you can't travel. Each country, each time you leave the country, you need a permit from, like, get a visa where you're going. And they won't get us except if we had this invitation letters from festivals, you know, in Europe, which guarantee blah, blah, blah. And then we get like a visa of 7 days to come play like 3 gigs and come back. That's how it started, you know. And when we seen like music is kind of working good, like to make us travel, this came the album Laissez-Passer, because it's the name of the travel document we have instead of a passport. It's called Laissez-Passer. And the album, we said, okay, this album is called Laissez-Passer. This is going to get us out of here, you know, better than this document. And it happened, and we traveled like that. Yeah.
Afterwards, I want to do the next album, but then I would really love to ask you to elaborate on that, because I think so few people understand the logistical nightmare of traveling when you're born into a situation where you're stateless and you're unable to have a passport. So this, I think this next interlude is related.
Of course.
So tell us a little bit about Wanderlust, and then we'll take a listen too.
Yeah, it's a melancholic feeling, but still want to be happy and dance, you know, which is always a mixed feeling, a little bit also, like between happy and sad. I don't know, nostalgia a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, let's take a listen.
يا حبيبي فكري وخيالي
Amazing. Okay. What is the feeling of listening to this one after our conversation?
Yeah, maybe the song's still better from what I was like trying to say. I don't know, but it's it's what we were talking about. Yeah.
So what is I guess this is my question. I want to understand what you would be thinking. You're in Switzerland, or you're in Germany, or you're in the UK, or you're wherever, right? In New York City, playing this album on stage, and there's an entire dance party filled with like, let's say 400 people enjoying without any understanding of what you're talking about. And even if they understood the lyrics, they don't necessarily understand the metaphor. And maybe even further, they don't even really care. They're just there for a good time. Does that sting in a way that like I would not fully understand?
Does that saying what? Sorry.
Does that sting? Does that idea hurt, that like some of the people who are like enjoying and just dancing to the party don't really care about
No,
what you're talking about?
I'm okay with that.
Really?
Yes. If they dance, at least, then that's okay. But if they don't dance or they don't like anything, then they better leave. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's look, there's of course we play like in many places, and we end up sometimes in situations where I feel like the audience now is, you never know if there is somebody Arabic speaking or not, but you feel sometimes if they are like, you know, listening or just dancing and having fun. And I don't know if people have fun and dance. For me, like I see, maybe Rami and I, we give so much more weight to the music, and we just put the lyrics because songs are cooler, you know. But if it comes to us, we are much more faster in making music than lyrics. The lyrics is what makes us actually slow. So maybe, if our music works, then we're happy, you know. I feel like we're not a songwriter, which is about the lyrics, or not even equal 50-50, you know. We're driven with the music much more. But we do our best in the lyrics, and I'm happy if somebody like that, but if not,
Okay, let's do some quick Q&A, then we have questions from the audience. So these should be like rapid fire. Okay, the first question is, what are you listening to these days?
Nothing specific, but I would say I'm into a little bit music that came, let's say, from Cairo, let's say in the 50s, 60s, 70s, this kind of stuff. Like, cool. I'm listening Abdul Wahab, Farid Latrash.
Okay, cool. Who would you love to shadow for a day, past or present?
That's very hard. I don't know. Maybe because I'm listening right now too much to this music I explained.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see what's Farid Al-Atrash. I learn a lot now from these people about composing, about the music in general. So yeah.
Okay, cool. What do people most misunderstand about your work?
Where we come from, or if we are political band or not, or you know,
What's the answer to that question?
Maybe I don't know. Sometimes people like related us maybe too much to the Golan Heights, maybe because there's, I don't know. I mean, we don't want to be speaking in the name of the Golan Heights because I cannot do that to anybody else. I do it to myself. I'm changing all the time. When I see what I was saying, I say like, oh no.
last week.
For others. So I think this is hard when people think you are speaking in the name of somebody or like represent something.
Okay, I think I know the answer, but from the past, who would be your dream collaborator?
From the past, actually, a vocalist would be amazing. I would love to compose for a vocalist. So.
Anyone come to mind?
I can choose anybody. I would choose maybe Asmahan or Kulthum, or
Okay.
why not?
Why not? You can have anyone. Okay, so I'm going to read Aya's question first. She'd love to know how you, if you sampled or drew inspiration from a particular song for the first interlude, Moonlight.
For Moonlight.
Yeah, did you draw inspiration from a specific place for that one?
Actually, not really, no. Yeah, I feel like while we are doing it, we were discovering more about the song, and it didn't start with like a reference or something like that, no.
Okay. Ghalia, you're up next. I asked you to unmute. Sorry, do it again, sorry.
What was it? Would you like me to read my question?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so Hasan, which songs most resemble your spirit? And lastly, from a lyrical standpoint, which song was the most challenging to piece together? And such an honor to be present today. I just want to tell you, I love you. Your music carries so much depth and lives with me every day.
Oh, very sweet. Thank you very much, Alia. Thanks a lot. What song represent us? Maybe it's very hard to find one, and we are a little bit of the conclusion of all the songs, but yeah, maybe Wanderlust, I would say. It's something which is actual, a feeling I feel there. I feel like we maybe captured a feeling which we often have. And the other one was what song?
Was the most challenging for you to write the lyrics?
All songs with the lyrics. Lyrics part is the challenging for us. Like usually we have tons of music and we're just like sitting there trying to write lyrics on them. This is the challenging part of each song we do. Yeah.
Okay. Mira, you're up next.
Okay, hi. My question is, why did you choose this style of writing songs? And do your songs have a meaning or are they random?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mira. I don't think we chose a style. I still don't know what we are doing. Like we just write the songs and we feel it's like this, so it comes out, and then we try to find out where to put them. And the second part of the question was, do we have a meaning in the songs? Yes, we try to find always a meaning for each song, of course. But lately we also would love maybe for next to do a lot of very fun songs. Doesn't mean that it doesn't have a meaning, but just to have something fun, like a dance track of like, let's feel good, let's dance. And I feel a lot of meaning inside having or encouraging a moment of people to have fun. I like this meaning too. Doesn't mean that it always have to be related to the politics or like a cause or like, personal story or anything.
The next question comes from Zaidan. Hello.
Hello. My question is, where did the name Wanderlust originate from?
Yeah, thanks for your question. As I lived in Switzerland, I had to learn German. And I was learning German, and on the way I learned that they have something like Heimweh, which is like homesick, and Fernweh. So Fernweh in German, that's how I understood it. It's the opposite of homesick. And I didn't find this feeling of, I don't know there is type of people who are like homesick, they like their home. And apparently there is something else, which is the opposite. I never thought about it. I learned it in this German thing. So I tried to find it in English. And I'm not sure if this is exactly the meaning in English, because my English is not amazing, but I hope this was close to this meaning. Wanderlust, so the song is about traveling and not coming back home or finding your way back home. And
yeah. I think that is. I think that's perfect word for it.
Yeah.
The next person is Muhammad. Okay, I'll ask Muhammad's question for him. If you could go back to the past and change something from any of your songs, what would you change? You're like, all of them, I would change it.
Yes. This is the question. If it was to go back to change them or just make it something new. If I would go back, I would definitely, like in the last album, for example, I would produce it electronically 100%. I wouldn't do this acoustic drums, acoustic, things and try to make it sound like this. So yeah, each album, I think I would change a lot of production things.
Yeah.
Which I feel like we are not happy with it. Stuff technical with the mix or with the sound or how did we record it. Not very much the songs themselves, like as a songwriting or yeah.
Amazing. Okay, Abdullah, you're up next.
Hi. So my question is, why was your band named TootArd? And does it relate to your homeland?
And does it what? Sorry?
Relate to your homeland.
Okay. Thank you, Abdullah. We call it TootArd. I mean, when we start doing song, my brother and I, Rami, we called it first the Nakhleh brothers because we were doing this. But then we had our friends in and we really felt like a band. We were like a jam band and playing together nicely. So we wanted a band name. And we knew like that's because we're from the Golan Heights and starting this band was not easy. We had a lot of eyes on us a little bit, like socially, locally, I'm talking about. And we felt like we felt so much like it has to mean something to make art or be a, artist from this area and stuff. We kind of didn't want this. We just wanted to do like music and have fun. So we chose TootArd thinking that it doesn't mean anything, just a smooth name, it means strawberries in Arabic and it's just fun, let's do it. But then we start hearing people saying, it does mean something. Ard is the ground, the earth, for sure they mean. And we're like, enjoying that it's actually could mean something. But we were probably young people escaping from the pressure putting on you to make something that represent, a geographical place or something. Here we grow in the Golan Heights, apples and cherry. So this is famous to the place. It's not very much related, the TootArd. Yeah.
Amazing. Hasan, I want to ask you one final question before we leave. What kind of music do you think you're going to be playing in 10 years?
Very hard question. I don't know what's in 1 year would be.
Yeah.
In 10 years, I don't know. But lately, I would have to say there is a more like a curve or like there is a more enjoyment of Arabic maqam, like, or West Asian, let's call it better. Maqamat, like the scales with quartertones, bayat, trust, all this kind of stuff. I'm listening more and more, and I'm really getting, I don't know how to say it in English, like sultan, getting high on these kind of sounds more and more. So I see this gonna be more. And it's, I don't know, maybe a mix of dance or this, or maybe chilled music finally.
Yeah.
It's really, I can't know. Yeah.
Well, Hasan, thanks so much for joining. I'm looking forward to the live version of the album.
Thank you
very much looking forward to all the new music that you produce.
Thank you very much, and thanks to everybody who showed up, and I hope you enjoyed. And see you soon. Thanks a lot.
Of course. This will show up on our podcast tomorrow, and it will also be on YouTube. Please take a moment and give us some feedback. If you don't already subscribe to our YouTube page, please do leave us a comment, and we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.